gas, 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 gaga, gas, 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 gaga, gas, 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 gaga, gas, 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 gas. I've been going through all this stuff, right? Doing tidying up as usual, or is it tidying up? And I think I might have gas, gear, acquisition, syndrome. Got all these bits of old gear lying around for years and years and years and years and years and years, and I cannot bring myself to throw them away. So it's just piling up. Remember this? Piling up. And what I tend to do is, I say I'm going to tidy up, right? So I gather them all up, and then I move them to a different location. Gas, 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 gaga, gas, 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 gas. You remember these? Retro. That's retro, isn't it? See, this is what I tell myself. I say, this is retro, so you can't throw it away. Because what's going to happen is, it's going to be worth money one day. So let me put it down. This is actually, was it Generation 3? Generation 4 iPod. Look at that. Touch sensitive. You remember those? Gas, 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 Nokia 33, 10, 10, 10, 10, gaga, gas, gas, gas. The good old days when battery life could last weeks and weeks and weeks. And I remember I went to Italy with this phone and I had one battery and I charged it before I went and it lasted me the whole journey till I got back. Can't throw it away. Oldie but goodie. Gas, 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 gaga, gas, 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 gas. This old mixing desk that I used to use, doing audio stuff, don't really use it anymore. It's down in the corner somewhere, and I move it from one corner to the other corner. However, on a serious note, is that really gear acquisition syndrome? Gear acquisition syndrome is a syndrome. Acquiring gear. Yeah? There are stages. Stages that tell you whether you just acquired a load of gear over years, which I think I have, or whether you have this syndrome that is just propelling you along to get gear after gear after gear that you don't need. Because you know sometimes, right, like a hypochondriac, we will convince ourselves that we have a syndrome or some illness that we don't actually have because it's buzzing around or we've seen something on the internet or somebody has talked about some condition that somebody's got. And then we'll convince ourselves, oh, that sounds like me. I've got all this gear here. Maybe I got gear acquisition syndrome. Gas, 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 gas. Okay, what are the stages? Gear acquisition syndrome. First, you want the gear, right? You want it, you want it, you want it. You've seen it, you want it. I want it. Me want it. Want it. Second phase, you get the gear. You go out and you get it. You go and you buy it. You go and source it. You hunt it down. You bring it back. You got it. What's the next? You use the gear. You got it. Use it. Listening to your music. Whether it's photography or whatever. Because it's not just photography, right? But anyway, we'll get to that. You use the gear. Then after a short space of time, your excitement dips. This ain't really the one I wanted. Throw it away, and the cycle continues. You see something else, and it's gas, 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 gas. Mission impossible, right? Because you cannot satisfy that desire for gear. Gas, 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 gas. So it just goes from one thing to another. Gas, 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 gas. I'm going the wrong way. Gas, gas. What comes after this? Gas, gas. But you get the point, right? You see the gear, you want the gear. You get the gear. You use the gear. You get bored of the gear. goes around and around and around and around. And as I said, it's not just photography, it's not just videography, it's not just audio, it's not just equipment. Because remember, clothes is gear. This is all gear. Gear acquisition syndrome. Loads of shoes. Gear acquisition syndrome. Glasses. Gear. Stylized. Gear acquisition syndrome. You want it, you get it, you use it, you get bored of it. Move on to the next, right? But if you look at the step between step 1 and step 2, between wanting it and getting it, there's a step that I call step 1.5. And that step is justifying the gear. Because our minds work in such a way that we cannot move from step 1 to step 2 unless we justify what we want to do. We will not be comfortable within ourselves as human beings if we don't first justify wanting that latest iPod. They don't have iPods no more, do they? Do they? That latest bit of gear, that latest lens. We've got to justify getting that latest Sony A9 with the burst rate of 20 frames per second. So that I can catch the bird in the right wings just like this. Never have to miss a shot again. You justify it. You got to justify it. And your mind has to accept the justification of it. And then you can move comfortably into the next phase because I've justified it. I need it, you know. I need that latest full frame camera because my cropped frame camera is too noisy in those low light conditions. I need that f1.0 lens because if I had it, then I'd be able to shoot those really super shallow depth shots, and I'd be just so great and so wonderful. And the gear that I've got can't justify. Justification. That is the step. That is the crucial aspect in all of this gear acquisition syndrome. Sometimes you just got a load of gear that you've collected over years. You didn't have to justify to yourself. You just needed them. You know, when I was using this, or when I was using this, and then this came out years after. Years, I was using this for years. And then I was using this for years. It wasn't like a space of a couple of weeks or a couple of months before I switched from using a mini disc over to an iPod. And on and on and on. Yeah? When I was using my Scion 5, which seemed like 100 million years ago now. I used this for years. For years. Before I moved to something else. Yeah? So the justifying it is where you convince yourself and you make up all these stories. You make up all these reasons. You gas yourself. Gear acquisition syndrome. Gas. You self-gas. And on the street level, you know, when the youth say, boy, I got gassed, you know, man came and he's gassing me. What are they saying? They're saying hype. You are exciting yourself falsely to bring yourself up into a hyped state of being. Gassed. Your head is being filled with helium. So you are lightheaded now. You feel invincible. You can do anything. Gassed. Gear acquisition syndrome. Gas. That's the slang on the street. And that's the one for me that determines whether what you have is gas or is just a collection of old stuff lying around in your house after years and years and years, and you haven't been able to get rid of it for one reason or another. I mean, that's another syndrome all by itself. Gear get rid of syndrome, maybe. I don't know. But that's for another story for another day. Gas. Are we gassing ourselves into step 2, getting the gear? And you notice manufacturers love gas. Manufacturers cannot operate without gas. They need gas. They support gas. Natural gas. Is it natural gas? It's been processed and forced upon you, thrusted upon you. You know, there's a monopoly, just like British gas. Yeah, and they used to have a monopoly, and they could hike the prices and do what they wanted. And you had to go along, otherwise you'd be without gas. You'd be without lights, gas lights. You'd be without heating inside your house. Yeah, because gas equals money. As I said, just like the natural gas that comes down the pipes into your house. It's huge money, it's big business. So the manufacturers are sponsoring gas. They sponsor these channels on YouTube that push gear that you don't need. They hype the gear. They gas you. And you gas yourself. Yeah? So it's like, you know, if you got, just imagine you've got a space helmet on. You go into an environment where you can't breathe. You have to put on a space helmet, you put on the suit, and you put on a helmet, and it's got a cable, a pipe that feeds you gas into your helmet. That's a controlled gas pipe. It goes to your oxygen. The gas is oxygen, and you can breathe. Yeah? So that's an analogy. The manufacturers are controlling that gas. They're controlling the mixture of air and nitrogen and oxygen and whatever it is that goes to your brain. So they can hype it up, turn it up, so you're breathing helium and your voice is high and you're feeling high, you've been gassed. And in that state, they can tell you anything and you will believe it. They can convince you easily because we are in that space helmet environment. We're in a bubble. Imagine when you watch certain YouTube channels, you watch some, but you'll skip past others. You're in a bubble. You'll watch the ones that encourage you, that gas you to go and get the latest gear, and you'll steer past the ones that are trying to set you free from your gas. Yeah? That controlled gas, that pumped gas, which leads to gear acquisition syndrome, which is always present in gear acquisition syndrome. Yeah? So we're pumped by the manufacturers who love gas, who make most money off of gas. You know, they're sponsoring certain channels who are acting like, oh, I'm just looking at this gear, you know, this new thing that just came out, and wow, it's just so wonderful, and it's so. You notice they never buy it. Those people who are pushing the gear, they never buy it. Oh look, it's wonderful and it's so, and oh my God, it's just, I don't know what I would do without it. Manufacturers sponsoring the gas, man. So we have to be careful with labeling ourselves, because sometimes it's not gas. Sometimes it's just gear. It's just stuff that we got. And I don't know if I'm justifying all this stuff lying around here. I attempt to tidy it up and clean it up and get rid of it. And, you know, at some point I'm sure I will. But how do you cure yourself from gas? What's the cure? That's a tricky one, okay? You know, some people say poverty is the cure for gas. If you haven't got the money, then you can't move to the next stage, which is the acquisition of the gear. And looking at it, I would say poverty only contains gas. It can contain it because you still have the desire, you still want to move to the next stage, you're still telling yourself all these stories, and you're just waiting for some money to land, and the minute you get it, bam, that's what you're gonna do. You're gone. So poverty doesn't really cure gas. It contains it. And thinking about it, poverty and gas together is a very dangerous combination. Because if you have the desire and you don't have the money, that can lead you into some very detrimental, destructive activities in order to acquire that which you think that you need. So poverty and gas is not a good combination. It's not a cure for gas. You know, it can lead to stealing. It can lead to crime. It can lead to you doing things that are not acceptable in the eyes of normal people. in order to acquire what you need to get. Yeah? Poverty and gas do not go together. When you're poor and you can't pay your gas bill, what does it make you do? You'll be found in your house with jumpers on and jackets on, hoods up, wandering around your house because you can't turn the gas on. It makes you do stuff that's just not right. You'd be turning the fire down and trying to warm milk on a little really low fire to save because I haven't got the money to turn the gas on. Nah, poverty and gas, that's not the answer, man. Public Enemy back in the day had a song. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. You remember? That hype is the fuel that takes you from step 1 to step 2. And if you can extinguish that hype, if you can not believe the hype that either you tell yourself or that the manufacturers tell you, then there is no gas. Gas pipeline cut. There is no moving from stage 1 to stage 2. Problem solved. If you can stop believing the hype that the manufacturers are telling you, if you can stop believing the hype that you're making up, it's like having that space helmet and opening the visor and allowing real air, natural gas to come in. Breathing real air for the first time after years of being controlled. Breathing in controlled gas. Wow. And sometimes when you breathe that real air for the first time, it's uncomfortable because we're used to what we've been provided with. But in order to move forwards, it has to be done. Got to break that cycle, man. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. We've got to break that cycle, man. If we want to break that. Gas. So it's not a mission impossible. It's not a mission impossible. Trust. We just got to work on it. It's all good. It's all good. I chalk that. We are talk. We get rid of these things here. Deal with my syndrome.